Hi everyone, welcome back to Connoisseur Corner, part of the Feldy Network. I'm your host Marty Feldman. This is the BMW XM. It's a 4.4 liter V8. You have 483 horsepower coming from the gasoline powered side of this hybrid. The electric motor, which is I believe actually in line with the V8 and the transmission, gives you 194 horsepower, total 644. Again, if you go up to the what they call the label model, used to be red label, but I think Johnny Walker complained a little bit. So again, 644 horse, 590 pound-feet of torque, which is obviously a little bit of stump pulling power, as they say, not in a diesel sort of way. Competition for this car, when BMW, the engineers, put this together, they're competing with the two main cars they're talking about are the Lamborghini Urus and Porsche's Cayenne Turbo SE Hybrid. The Porsche is probably from a tech perspective, is going to be the closest competitor. Both of those cars will do a 0-60 time a little bit quicker than this one. They're going to be in the 3.2, 3.3 second range to 60 miles an hour. BMW says this is 4.1 to 60. The magazines that have run proper tests on this are getting about 3.7 seconds, give or take a few tenths here and there. So it gets up and goes. BMW always does that. They always underrate, publish figures that are actually lower than what the car does. I'm not sure why they do that. So let's take a look at the outside of this thing. So as you look at the XM, you're not going to see a lot of curves and beauty in it. You're going to see angles and lines, and what they're trying to do is show power and sort of a different modern presence to the design. A lot of things here, the gold striping, things of this nature. You can get that in black. It tones it down a little bit. If you want to be showy, go with that. That's fine. You can see a lot of the front. It's, again, sharp angles all along the sides. It's a big vehicle, but it looks better in person than it does in pictures. I think once you see it in the flesh, you'll like it. So the front end is certainly controversial. Again, what you see is all angles and lines here. The good thing is they don't have the bucktooth grill on this one. They took it back a little closer to standard BMW grill style. One of the big controversial aspects of this, of course, is the split headlight. You have the driving lights up top and the actual headlights here in this lower element. Of course, lots of cooling because this monster V8 in this thing needs a lot of air to breathe. And of course, you have brake cooling ducts on the side, radiators. And it's very well integrated, but again, they were going for just anger, again, imposition. Was not meant to be a nice looking vehicle. Nice meaning friendly. One of the main, and again, more controversy, but again, they're going for different look, is the stacked tailpipes. Here and here, completely different than BMW M. They always do the quad pipes and side by side. You'll notice the only badging here, XM, of course. The tail lights are nice. I like that they're dark. They give at night, gives sort of a 3D effect on that. Of course, you have essentially your powered hatch. Does have a pretty high load floor going in. There is no underfloor storage in this rascal. The bag here, you see, this carries a charging cable. It's not luggage, doesn't come with luggage. BMW puts the charging cable in there. Typically, of course, you just pull up a hatch. There's a place to store it there, but not here. So again, the seats fold down, so you have plenty of utility in this rascal. It gives you the performance, it gives you the utility, it gives you the presence. It's a nice package. Did I say it was big? It is. I'm 6'6", and you can see this thing is not tiny. This is a big rascal. It's imposing. That's what BMW wanted when they designed the XM. So if you start out in comfort mode, essentially you're in EV mode at this point. So you're not hearing that V8 crank over. It gets around, you're looking at about 30-ish, 29, 30, 32 miles on a fully charged EV range. I've driven it a good bit on that, and that seems to be easily attainable. So I'm, at this point, again, still in EV mode, pulling out, doing about 45, 50. No problems at all, very smooth, you know, reasonably quiet. I mean, you're not driving in an S-Class or something at this point. Of course, the suspension settings in comfort mode are a little bit more compliant. It's an M vehicle. There's still some, you know, I hate to use the word flintiness, but okay, we'll use the word flintiness. It's performance calibration, how's that? It does increase if, of course, you go to Sport or Sport Plus mode. I'm trying to kind of suss out the intent of this vehicle, the meaning of it. I think the more I think about it, I think it's really in a lot of ways a test bed for BMW. I think the engineers, the intent was really to see what they could do with this hybrid, you know, to see what they could do with this hybrid powertrain. What you're going to see is when the new M5 comes out, they're going to take this powertrain and they're going to put it in the M5. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch modes and we're going to fire the engine. And you probably didn't hear it too much, but there you go. So I think a couple of the overriding thoughts, vibes, feelings of this vehicle. It is large and it is heavy. It's over 6,000 pounds. I think they've done a really tremendous job, I think, engineering a lot of the weight out of the vehicle. I've driven it on some nice back roads, and it still feels large. It doesn't really shrink around you, so to speak. You've heard that term from the driving perspective, but it does. I mean, this thing, it holds the road. They've for what it's worth, it does a good job of fighting gravity, considering again the weight of this vehicle. 6,000 pounds. That's a lot of mass and a lot of inertia. But with this much power, this finely calibrated suspension, It's a dandy, I'll tell you that.